The plan is for this video to be the most honest video I've ever made. Welcome to How to Improve Your Mental Health, Part 8. And today is all about honesty. If you like real talk, if you like keeping it 100, then hit that like button. And if you're focused on improving your mental health, hit that subscribe button, join the One App community. Welcome, queens and kings. I'm sending you all so much love, so many blessings. I'm Shez Sheikh, I'm the Urban Hippie, and today we're going to be talking about honesty, particularly honesty with yourself. Before I get underway, I just want to say this little disclaimer. These are my opinions. These are my opinions that I have formed over my 41 years in my lifetime. These opinions are formed from experiences. I've spent a lot of time with some people, and I've had a wonderful chance to observe people in different parts of my life, and everything that I'm talking about is with hindsight. And by the way, some of these people that I'm talking about, I've got a lot of love for, and I've shown a lot of love to in my life, and I'm not calling anybody out with this. I just want to be blunt about that. The biggest case that I've seen in my lifetime, particularly with people from my generation, is that people are lying to themselves every single day. And I'm going to come back to the video that I made yesterday. I was talking about my theory that you have this identity in the middle, which is what you're supposed to be, the identity that you were born to be, and somehow people instead choose to live the identity of this image of themselves that they present to people, that they think of themselves as. And the reason I say that people are not honest with themselves is because people spend their lives living this identity that they've made of themselves in their head. You said yesterday, people don't know their own identity. People don't know who they are. People are not self-aware. That means that they're living a perpetual lie in their lives that they are not the person that they are supposed to be. The level of delusion in people I know, that I've witnessed, is scary. It's scary that people are walking around that close to us, that close to our energy. It comes down to the fact that people have flaws, they can't accept those flaws then turn into insecurities, and in order to cover up all these insecurities, basically people lie to themselves, right? People are not honest with themselves. We're talking some deep psychology here, but on what level, if you're living a fake life, do they gain happiness? Is it only surface level happiness that they get? I'm curious about this, by the way. We're going to come to curiosity later. The disparity between the person that they could be, would be, should be, and the person that they're trying to be, the person that they present themselves as. Too much distance between the two alter egos. There's too much difference between these two alter egos. If you're trying to live up to this version of yourself that's not even real, you're setting yourself up to have anxiety, because you're going to be worrying about how to make this work on some very, very deep level. Here's the thing, folks, you might not be consciously aware of some of these things, hence why they're not honest with themselves. This is on some deep subconscious level. I didn't get to say this in yesterday's video, but the reason I can talk about this stuff so candidly is because I've been there. I've been that person. I've lived that life. I've literally tried to live up to this identity of myself that I had created for the majority of my life. And the reason I did that is a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism from trauma. It's a coping mechanism from something deep rooted. It's probably on some really subconscious level. That's why you're not always aware of it. You might have moments when you become aware of it, fleeting moments of self-discovery, and then it goes away again and you go right back into character. Life-changing mistakes that I made in my life were all down to me trying to live up to this character that I wasn't even supposed to be. It was the version of myself, an alter ego of myself that I had created, but I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't being real to me. Life's much better when you're just doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's a lot easier on your mind, it's a lot easier on your body, and it's a lot easier on your soul. So hear me out now. Your mental health issues are basically a result of your relationships with yourself and with other people, and also the circumstances that you find yourself in, your environment. At this point in this video, I want to reference the people that I've been talking about. Some of these people, like I said, I've spent a lot of time with them. I've got a lot of love for them, so much love for them. I haven't spoken to some of them in a while, but they're always in my thoughts and my prayers, particularly when I'm thinking about the topics that I'm thinking about. I've done a lot of reflection in my life, particularly in my healing journey. I've spent time thinking about the people that I've spent time with. And in that journey, I've realized how broken some of the people that I know are. I just want to send blessings and love to everybody who's watching this video, but in particular the people that I know that have got deep-rooted mental health issues, but they're just so aloof to them. They're not prepared to accept their flaws, not prepared to do the work, they're not prepared to look deep into themselves. And as a result of that, the identity that they've tried to create for their whole lives, that identity is the one they're still trying to present. For whatever reason, whether it's themselves or whether it's the circumstances, they haven't been able to grow, they haven't been able to develop, they haven't been able to evolve. I want to send people growth and healing. If you've been a part of my life and we've had good times together, I wish you nothing but love. It's nothing but love. The saddest bit about all of this is that a lot of the trauma that we carry, a lot of the pain that we carry, a lot of the issues that have arisen in our lives, in our heads, they're caused by people that are supposed to be looking after us. They're caused by our caregivers, but they didn't mean it, and you can't hold it against them either. Our caregivers just didn't know better. They didn't have a better way of dealing with their own trauma. It's generational trauma. Our families and our lineage and our ancestors are dealing with things probably from generations ago that's just been passed down. But we can be the ones who break that generational trauma. We can be the ones that break that generational cycle. We can be the ones that end that cycle of trauma and pain. We can be the ones who embrace an era of healing and growth and development and positive mental health. And that's what excites me, particularly for me and my son and his family when he's older. I want to be able to be the guy that doesn't pass all that down, and I want to pass on positive knowledge. That's what I would love my legacy to be, is to be someone that ended that generational trauma and grew to a different place. You can't do that without being honest with yourself. You can't do that without accepting your insecurities. So then, how do you become more honest with yourself? The easiest thing to say is lose the ego. Lose the ego. When you start losing the ego and you start looking deeply at yourself and you start looking honestly at yourself, that's what's called shadow work. The reason it's called shadow work is because shadows are dark, and doing the shadow work is dark. People get confused at healing or fitness or anything. It's never a linear path. It's never a straight line. You're going to have up moments, you're going to have down moments, there's going to be low points. And when you do the shadow work, it's a low point. Finding out you're not the person that you've been presenting yourself as, discovering that for yourself, is very difficult. Aligning yourself back to who you're supposed to be then is a lot easier. But doing the work at the start is the difficult bit. Doing the shadow work, finding out who you are, finding out what made you do all the things you did. Again, I'm not a fan of reflective work. I'm much more a fan of the moment, the present moment. You're best seeing somebody to help you reflect on that darkness. It's difficult to do it alone. It's very difficult to do alone. I always recommend people get a little bit of assistance with it. When you're honest with yourself, you actually sit with your demons, you understand them, you know their names. Then you learn that you don't need to fight against your demons. You need to learn how to live together with them. That's what being honest with yourself does. We can get to a point where we're honest with ourselves, we can improve our relationship with ourselves, and then we can inspire other people to do the same. And that's the goal of this project. That's the goal of One Up, is to inspire people to heal themselves. You are all healers. You are all capable of healing. All I want to do is facilitate that healing and show you guys that you can do it. Here's one more thing I want to talk about: how you guys can help someone else be honest. You can be honest yourself, you can inspire them that way, you can show people the way by being honest with yourself and being honest to them. But the other aspect of this is, it's a quote from Ted Lasso, which is a great television program about leadership, and the quote is, "More curiosity, less judgment." We are so judgmental of other people. The reason we're judgmental is because we're projecting our insecurities onto others. If people were less judgmental and more curious about each other, it would encourage the person to be more honest about themselves. Sometimes it takes being honest with someone else first before you even realize that what you just said was actually an eye-opener for you too. I love the people that I've had around me in my life, and I've had great times with them, but the reason I keep my circle so small, the reason I keep myself so isolated now, is because how can you expect honesty from people that lie to themselves? How can you trust people that lie to themselves? I want to be around people who are very self-aware. I want to be around people who are very honest with themselves. I don't need my trust broken anymore. Folks, it's been deep. Honestly, this has been deep. Pardon the pun. If you've enjoyed this honest take on honesty, give this video a like. Hit that subscribe button, because I'll be back tomorrow with How to Improve Your Mental Health, Part 9. Big love and blessings, queens and kings. I shall take your leave. We all need a positive